Football, soccer, footy, soccer football, wog ball, whatever you call it, one thing is certain. This is a beautiful game, and it has officially infiltrated the state's capital. No, we're not talking about a government coup, but we're talking about the Austin FC takeover. A city that was once painted orange is now experiencing a wave of green that has no end in sight. That's what we're here to talk about, laugh, and possibly argue about, and hopefully on a weekly basis. My name is Roland. I'll be your host for this podcast, but the true stars of the show are the gentlemen here with me today, Ben and Rich. Why don't both of you guys take a little time, tell us about the podcast and your affinity for soccer and how you came to root for Austin FC? But Ben, why don't you go first? Because I have a feeling this podcast was your idea, and thank you for having us on.
Yeah, I'm honored to be on with you two lads tonight. But yeah, man, Austin FC Los Verdes, baby. It's here. We talking about sports. Finally, we are getting team specific. We will be following Austin FC Verdes this season. We got the opener Saturday. We're going to get into it tonight. But I'm excited for this. I mean, guys, we've been to several of the games. The atmosphere there, electric. I mean, it's one of the best sports atmospheres, I would say. That city, like you said, Roland, it's getting infiltrated by some green. And you're not joking, brother. They're slowly becoming, the darling of Austin, Texas, with that run they put on last year. So glad to be on here, man. This is going to be awesome. We're going to be doing this weekly. Roland's going to be kicking it with us, and we got Rich, man. We got Rich with us too. Rich, what's up?
What's up, man? It's good to be here. It's good to be here.
Big signing for the football podcast.
Excited to talk about Los Verdes, Austin. It's going to be a good season.
So, Rich, how long have you been into soccer? How long have you been following ATX FC? Have you been following them from the jump?
Yeah, I have, actually. I've been into soccer. I mean, it's probably been about since high school. It's probably about 2010-ish. Yeah, I've been following from the jump. I went to a bunch of games their first season. Been following, closely with their acquisitions and their transfers. Went to a few games with y'all, last season. So I'm excited. I'm a big fan, and I'm excited to talk about them this year.
Hell yeah. Well, I'm glad to have both of you guys, or glad to be joining both of you guys, rather, because you guys both have a good wealth of knowledge when it comes to soccer and Austin FC. So without further ado, we do have a little bit of a show planned for you guys. It is the first show, so we are going to keep it a little light, but we have a couple of things we're going to go over here for Los Verdes as they look to kick off the season on Saturday. So here's the lineup, some season expectations. Number one on the list, though, signing Jerisi. That was the big thing that everybody knew had to happen. There was rumors of him maybe going back overseas or joining another club, but they were able to get it done. Were you guys expecting this to happen? Were you surprised that he signed?
I'm not going to lie. When I heard that the Leeds rumors, because that was the rumors going around that Leeds was looking at him, and we know Leeds, they're a team in the EPL trying to find themselves, bringing on younger players and trying them out. A lot of Americans play for Leeds as well. So when you think an EPL team is after him, I thought he was gone. I thought he was as good as gone. I was very surprised that he stayed. They said that they gave him a hefty payday. He's one of the top paid players in the MLS. Obviously, deservingly so. But after a 20-goal season in the MLS, usually you see a player cash that in elsewhere. Rich, were you surprised, or did you expect him to stay?
No, I was very surprised. I really thought when Leeds came calling, the Premier League came calling, he was going to go, and I thought Austin was going to take that transfer fee and spread it across the squad. But luckily he committed to Austin, and he's going to stay here, in Capital City, and we're going to be lucky to watch him play, every season with Austin until 2026.
Yeah, and Rich, you've lived up there in Austin, so I mean, the word is that he's treated like a god up there. I mean, like we said, the Verdes, the city really has taken a liking to the team. Jerussi is the MVP, but I mean, could he have it that good in Austin, Texas to pass up? That's like every young kid's dream growing up playing soccer. They want to play in the English Premier League or a league like that, right? Of that stature and eliteness.
No, yeah, I definitely agree. I do think, the city, has embraced him, and it also, they kind of respect his space. In Europe and in like Latin America where he played before, they don't really have a lot of privacy. I feel like he can walk down the street in Austin, Texas, down 6th Street or wherever he's at, and no one's gonna, maybe they'll ask for a few pictures, but they're not gonna hassle him. I think that's a big deal. He's a better spot for him and his family. So, and the city has embraced him. The murals all over the city. He's a big deal.
Yeah, and for those of you guys that are, watching us on YouTube, hopefully, subscribe and follow. We Talking About Sports. We are on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok now. But again, for those of you guys that are watching us on the video, we have Drusy here pictured to the number 25. He is changing his number, however, to the number 10. Do you guys like that move? He's moving from 7 to 10, switching numbers, I think, with, was it Ringoni? That's he's switching numbers with. Is he the true 10 on the team?
Yeah, definitely. I do think he's the true 10 on the team. It's refreshing to see because he played like a 10 last year. So I'm excited that we have our new 10 finally.
Yeah, he's finally going to be in his more natural role, I would say, because he's a hell of a passer as well. But yeah, the 25 on the jersey here in the pictures because they locked him up until 2025. So, that really, really good news, really good news. Got another guy that got signed today as well, right, Rich?
Yeah, they signed Fagundes to his extension today till 2026. So we have him locked on, another fan favorite. He's really overachieved this season, and the city's really embraced him. So we're happy to have him until 2026.
It's really good seeing them signing these players, the core, and them kind of finding their identity. Like, because that's the ground level, right? That's the foundation of the team. You lock up your superstars. You have your paid guys. And now you go and fill in the other spots, or players fill in and they make them better. So I like the fact that they found their players, and we're not going to be playing this transfer game at some of those main positions that we really need to figure out if we want to be considered with the elite of the elite.
Yeah, and if you want to be considered with the elite of the elite, you got to put the ball in the back of the net. That's one thing that they really, relied on Drusy to do a lot of last year. Now they bring in a guy that's also pictured here again for those of you guys that are watching us visually. Zardes here gets signed, one of the most prolific scorers in MLS history, a natural number 9. He reunites with one of his former coaches where he had one of his best seasons. I think he won Comeback Player of the Year. I'm blanking out on the name of the coach right now. I'll get that while Ben and Rich give their takes. But he said that he wanted to come to Austin FC because of their play style. They led the league last year, and the amount of chances thrown into the box in terms of crosses. So definitely fits his game. Do you guys like the fit here for Zardes? Do you think it's a good signing for Los Verdes?
Go ahead, Rich.
Yeah, I think it's a great signing. I think he's what we need. In instances last season, we kind of relied on Drusy to pick up the slack and make some magic and bail us out of those games. But now we have like a number 9 that we can cross to. We can hold the ball up for Drusy to create more. And the folks coming down the wings with the new signing Lundqvist at left back now. Rigoni at right wing. It's gonna be fun to see him hold the ball up and assist the guys and put those chances away.
Yeah, man, I like it as well because of what we said. It puts Drusy back in his more natural position, and he's not, the striker or the main guy. You got Zardes there now, a huge body, gonna take up space, and like Rich said, he's gonna be holding up the ball and giving guys opportunities. I like that he's a veteran. I know some might say his better days are behind him, and yes, his better days might be behind him. But the Verdes, what they do, it's high octane offense, which, like you heard Roland say, that's why he decided to come to Austin. He's going to get a lot of chances. He might not be your 90-minute guy. He might get subbed out, in the 70th minute. But I like the acquisition. I like that it's a big body in the box, and it's going to open up a lot more, in my opinion. So I'm a fan of it. I mean, got to ride him till the wheels fall off. Dude's been, he came from LA Galaxy. He's been with the Columbus Crew. He's been around. He's respected in the league. I don't see how this could be a bad signing.
Yeah, definitely an upgrade from last season.
Yeah, and it really, holds true that a trend that I'm seeing here for Austin FC is they want to capitalize on this momentum. You guys were talking about, they have their core with guys like Drusy and Fagundes, those re-signings. Those are the guys, the core of the team, and now they're coming in and filling in these other spots like Zardes to come and help out, put the ball in the back of the net. But what this reads to me is Austin FC knows that one of the, main things that'll help them, like Ben is talking about, stay the darling of the city is winning and staying at the top of the table. And so signings like this, to me, just reads that, hey, they know they have a window with these guys that they've signed. Let's go out and win a championship. And that's the other major thing that we're here to talk about today. Let's get into, our predictions and our, expectations for Austin FC as it relates to, where they're ranked in terms of their, Vegas odds for, this upcoming season. Well, actually,
Yeah, here we go. We got it right here. So we got the championship odds rolling. If you want to read them off from the highest favored, we got the top 8 here for you. I believe top 10. I mean, past this, you're really getting into some deep numbers. But for the most part, these are going to be the teams in contention this year. Go ahead, Roland.
Yeah, so it's LAFC, the team that they lost to in the Western Conference Finals, the eventual champion, at plus 400, followed by the Philadelphia Union plus 600. Interestingly enough, NYCFC with all their turnover is still at plus 800, Nashville plus 900, and then that's where we find Austin FC at plus 900, and then followed off by LA Galaxy, Seattle, and Montreal Football Club at plus 1400. So do you guys think these rankings or not rankings, but odds rather for Austin FC is fair? They find themselves, a top 5 or top 6 team in the eyes of Vegas.
I actually do think it's pretty fair. I think the odds that they have on there are pretty fair. I mean, damn near 10-1. I mean, that's pretty good odds. Put down 100, and if they win, it's 900 for where everybody expects them. And, kind of what we're reading, the expectations, obviously, it's most of the expectations have to do with where these teams finished last year. Let's be real, right? Because that's all that they have to go off of, minus, a couple of transfers. But seeing them at plus 900 and, the hype around them. The last thing on Zardes is this team this is the third year of its existence, and you already have players like that saying, I want to go to Austin FC. I think that's kudos to the front office and what they've done as far as building up the culture there in Austin. That's awesome, and I think that's what's going to help them win a lot of games. If you're there at the stadium, man, it's loud, and you could tell that the culture, the atmosphere, it boosts this team. That they start playing with confidence. Even when they get scored on early, like we saw against Salt Lake last year in that playoff game that we all went to, they get scored on in the 3rd minute and boom, they rattle 3 goals off, back, right? So I like the odds. I think that they're fairly priced. They're not priced like one of the top dogs like we see, with LAFC and the Union at 4-1 and 6-1 odds. I like where they're at 9-1. I wouldn't mind taking a shot. I think that's pretty fair because I don't think that they're that elite yet because they have some things that they need to fix, based on the play style that they had last year.
What are your thoughts, Rich? Would you take a stab here on Austin FC at plus 900?
I would definitely. I got them finishing like top 3 in the West, so I do think it's fair. It's interesting to see Seattle at plus 1400. I have them finishing right above Austin, to be honest with you. So I think that's pretty good deal right there.
Some value.
Yeah, definitely. And with LAFC, I think they're number 1. So I think it's it's fair. It's fair ranking. Austin FC this year, I'm really looking forward to it and looking forward to them playing. And I do think that that ranking does suit them.
Yeah, and reading into this for me, it looks like Vegas obviously thinks LAFC is, a step or a tier above, the rest of the league. But the other thing that I noticed is there's a clear drop off after Austin FC to, Seattle and Montreal, in the eyes of Vegas. So I'm saying all that to say is like, if you're going to take somebody, you might as well, in my eyes, take somebody in this middle tier from, NYC or Austin or LA Galaxy, because I don't think that Seattle, if you're going off of these, Vegas odds, or Montreal really have a true chance of winning the championship, unlike, some of these other teams you can maybe make the argument for. But I'm just not a fan. I'm saying all this to say that I'm not a fan of taking LAFC at plus 400. So, I'd rather take somebody like Austin FC. But, Ben, you're talking a little bit about, the way that they play leading to some goals, and I'm a fan of statistics myself, the podcast that we have when we talk about American football, every Sunday, I like to bring some stats. I do have some stats here. Last year, Austin FC, they had, 65 goals, but they had an expected goals of 51. They allowed 49 goals, and they had an expected goals allowed of 53. So if you go off of expected goals, they actually had a negative differential. So I'm just saying that would lead to potential regression. Do you see any of that coming for Austin FC based on their play style, or is that just what you get when you play that high octane level of soccer?
I mean, yeah, they're very attacking, so that is what you're going to get. But they also needed to upgrade, their back line at certain positions. And I'll let Rich get into, the center back, that's going to help hopefully this season. But last year was just too many early goals and playing from a deficit. I think that's the reason why they're not, at the price like an LAFC, where with LAFC, you know what you're getting consistently. With Austin FC, they could be down 1-2-0 at halftime and then pull off, that Austin miracle. And thank God for Sebastian Jerussi. But he bailed us out too many times last year. We won or tied a lot of games that we had no business tying. And they were most of the time against teams that we had no business with even having a game, kind of like the matchup that we're going to get to later on in the show. But too many times they played down to the level of their competition. That's what I was looking for. And they got down early and they had to, pull the rabbit out of the hat in order to get a result, whether it be 1 point on the table or 3 points for the win. What I want from them this season is to be more dominant, to be more in control. And I think in the midfield, with Fagundes playing there and now being more established, the team getting more chemistry, them bringing back players, I think that can happen this year. That's what I'm wanting to see. I'm wanting to see them be consistent enough to be considered with these championship caliber teams.
Yeah, I really do think that the acquisition of some of the transfers really helped address the issues that we had last season with giving up early leads. Our biggest weakness last year definitely was the back line. We had some trouble with fullbacks. This season, we got Leo Väisänen from Elfsborg in Sweden. He played in the first division in Sweden. I think he also is a Finnish international, so he's a starter on their international team. He's from what I've heard, he's the real deal. He can play right back as well. It'll really help us have a center back that can play the ball to his feet. We also traded. I want to say we gave allocation money for Adam Lundqvist, the left back from the Houston Dynamo. It's going to be a big upgrade for us as well. He was a starter for them, and he's been solid. I want to say he's also a Sweden international. Then we got Will Bruin, to provide depth. So I do think it's going to be interesting to see. Well, it's possibly for aggression. I do see that, but I think the upgrades of Zardes and the upgrade of having our center back replace Gabrielson, someone we needed last season, and a left back upgrade to really help so we don't concede as much. So I really think we'll have the bargain on our hands this season.
Yeah, so like you guys are talking about, they've addressed some of those issues as far as the center back like Richie just mentioned, and and Ben talking about wanting to see more dominance. So maybe we'll see a switch in some of their game style, because like you said, Ben, Drusi is going to be able to step back a little bit more. Zardes is going to play up front, allow him to play maybe a little bit more of that cam position. So we'll see what happens. But while we're on this slide, I know we threw out third place. Is that y'all's official prediction for Austin FC this season? Is that a third place prediction? Is that what I'm hearing?
I got a third place prediction, but I think Ben was saying second place.
Yeah, I think I'm expecting the same type of performance that we got last year. I think that, like I said, they're establishing themselves. They found out who they are as a team. They now have their style of play and how they feel comfortable playing. Love that they went and fix those holes that we're talking about in the back line, and even added that one striker to make Drusi more comfortable. So all the right moves were made, to keep them where they are, if not get better. So I'm saying number 2 again. The homer in me wants to say number 1, but I'm going to save that for like the third episode. Once we're 3-0, 2-0, then you'll get me talking about first place.
There we go. And, we are going to get into their first matchup. We're talking about 1-0, 2-0. We are going to get into that Saturday matchup against St. Louis.
Let's real quick, boys, let's talk about the unis that they're going to be rocking.
But let's have a little fun. Let's have a little fun first. Yeah, let's talk about those jerseys. Ben, you're rocking it. I know we didn't even talk about it until now. We're 20 minutes into the podcast, but I'll let you give your thoughts first, since you're already rocking the
jersey. So this is, there was a lot of leaks going around Twitter for anybody who follows, accounts that are with the Verdes. Everybody wanted to know what the new jerseys were going to be like. They get a new home jersey. I believe it's every year they alternate home and away new jerseys. So here we got Las Voces Kid. I wasn't the biggest fan of it at first. I'm not going to lie to you. I had it like as a 5. I thought that it looked similar to the one that, I already had, the original like Juventus style stripes, with the green and black. I think that it was a little lazy as far as the overall design, but I do like the detail that they put into the jersey. So, like, I gotta like something about it, right? Fuck, I'm wearing the jersey, so not too much on Las Voces kit if you don't get down with it. I am happy with it. I am happy that I ended up buying it, but I do like the detail. I like the white stripes here on the shoulder pad. I like all the sponsors on the sleeves. You got the Apple TV logo here right next to the shield. Behind the neck collar, you got the ATX. So I do like the attention to detail. I think the overall concept was a little bit lazy. I'm not gonna lie.
We're not gonna get a little spin around for the.
I'm not gonna do the Vuelta. Not tonight.
Rich, what are your thoughts on the jersey?
Yeah, man, I'm not a fan. I really hope that they picked one pattern. They went with several. I mean, if they would have gone with like that thinner stripe look, I think that would have been really nice. It would have been like one of those old Inter Milan jerseys. So I think it would have been sleeker if they did something like that. It's somewhat abstract, so that's cool. But it's just I'm not feeling it. I really wish they would just pick one pattern, to be honest with you.
It's the art. It's the art, Rich.
Ben said that they look better in person, so I might reconsider. But
yeah, like I said, it's the details. But don't get me wrong. You're going to be walking down the street, and you're going to have people trying to scan you like a damn barcode. With some of these patterns down here, looking like the American flag stripes and shit. But yeah, a little lazy. Abstract is a good word to use for it. You know what I mean? It's if you understand the art, you get it.
You gotta squint a little bit and turn to the left.
Yeah. Don't wear your contacts that day.
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree with both of you guys though. It's a little lazy and it looks like they were confused as to what they wanted to do, and it's just too similar to last year. So not a big fan, but still I like the overall colors, the green and black. Hard to go wrong with that, and the Yeti logo is always nice. I do need to get myself one of those mint green jerseys.
The mint one is really nice.
I really like the mint one too. I'm excited to see what the away and the third kit look like this season. They haven't released it yet, right?
I think that the away kit is next year. Like I said, they do home one season, away the next year.
Okay, so they'll still have the mints then.
Yeah. Rich, so what? You got to take a closer look. Maybe when you go to the game on Saturday, you take a closer look at the jersey and you convince yourself to buy it?
Yeah, I might end up with one. We can match. We can be twins.
Yeah, twinsies.
I love it.
All right, boys. Well, let's get into the reason why we're here, right? Game 1, opening match.
Game 1, opening match. Austin FC is welcoming a new team to the MLS, St. Louis. I'll let you guys talk a little bit about the team, but Austin does find themselves as a considerable favorite, minus 200 on the money line, plus 330 to draw. And St. Louis, you can get them at a plus 450 if you think they're going to pull off the upset. And the over-under, as far as I can tell, is set at 2.5. Is there anything that you guys like here? You guys are already auto-betting Austin FC, putting them in some parlays, Ben. What are you thinking here?
I mean, like I said, this is a St. Louis SC team that was picked to be last in the whole league. Okay, not just a conference, in the league. So this is the type of game where I'm saying if Austin FC wants to be considered one of those elite teams, you come out here and you get a 3-1 win. You know what I mean? You go and show why you're a minus 500 favorite if it's draw no bet. Why you're minus 205 in the 90 minutes of regulation. This is a game. This is a perfect opening game. Last season they had an opening game against Cincinnati as underdogs. They came out with the win. Roles reversed. They're supposed to, curb stomp these boys from St. Louis, send them back to the Ville with Nelly. Right off the bat, though, like you said, the minus 205, yes, that's a parlay. That's a parlay piece. I like the over 2.5. The over 2.5 is a little bit juiced, but I see a 3-1 game. Listen, I'm hoping that Austin FC's backline is fixed. One goal is not the worst. I do see them conceding just because they kind of got to show me first. Yes, Rich was here talking about the backline upgrades. We got to see it. They have been conceding. I know it's been preseason, but they've conceded in just about every game of the preseason. I see them giving up 1 goal, but I do see them showing out at home. So I like 3-1 final score. I mean, not that I'm going to bet exact score, but I like that over 2.5. Austin FC last year, I mean, over 2.5 was money, man. That was money all year. High scoring team.
What about you, Rich? What do you know about this St. Louis team? Do they have anybody that, like Ben said, that is going to make Austin FC concede? Do they have anybody that's going to threaten that Austin FC backline?
So St. Louis City, I think it could surprise some people. I know that I really do think we're going to pull out the W, but I don't think it's going to be as convincing as we think. Just because I know that it's obvious that there's a talent gap there. I feel like they're going to play a lot more defensively. Their captain Roman Berkey, former Borussia Dortmund keeper, so he's a very good player, especially for the MLS. They got Tim Parker, the veteran at center back. He played the Dynamo. He's been in the MLS for more than 6 seasons at least. So they're going to have a solid, organized backline now. They're missing a lot of creativity. So I really don't see them putting together a lot of chances. I think we might have to grind one out if we don't get any goals early. They have a striker that could, put some chances away in Joao Klaus, who played in the Bundesliga for Hoffenheim. So, I do think that, we're better and we're going to pull out the W. I don't think we're going to blow them out to say, because I really think they're going to play defensively.
Prediction?
I got us 2-0.
2-0. Okay, Rich, you with the clean sheet. All right, Rich. Hyped about that back line, baby.
Yeah, the new boys are going to come through. Bison is going to, show his worth, and we're going to start it off on a good foot.
Yeah. So something else, and I know we don't have it here on the page, but it might be available as the -1.5. I mean, so 2-0 is a very I had us 3-1. 2-0 is very understandable. Also, I mean, I do think Austin is going to get the win, but the 205, unless you're parlaying it, it's kind of tough to take. So if you get a -1.5, you're just going for that 2-0 win. Maybe Austin first half. It is the first game of the season, right? Jerussi, I don't know if he's played many preseason games, but I know we talked about Rigoni and some of those other guys scoring goals early in the preseason. Rich, you're going to be at the game. I mean, I feel like are you going to be at the game and watching it with a clear head, in that atmosphere, to where you're going to be like, oh, I'm going to bring some of this info back for the podcast, or you think you're going to have to rewatch it on Apple TV? Go ahead.
I think I'm going to have to rewatch it. I'll probably be immersed in the atmosphere during the game,
Immersed. That's a great word.
Immersed. Ooh, love the word.
The season, it's going to be exciting. All the hype from last season is going to be special. I think it's going to be packed house, and the atmosphere is probably going to be something to see.
Yeah, bro. I was going to say another line out here is a Austin team total. That would be something I might be looking at.
Yeah, that might be set at 1.5 also. So that 2-0. That's another good look, Roland. But hey, Rich, make sure to get a little bit of video. Maybe we could show some live video on next week's episode when we recap the St. Louis game and get into their next matchup next Saturday. Man, I wish I could go. I know I had to bail on y'all, but duty calls, right? So there's gonna be plenty of other chances, baby. There's gonna be plenty of other chances. But man, it's always a great time there at Q2 Stadium watching the games, getting some pluckers at halftime. Oh boy, man, I'm gonna be missing out, bro.
I'll have some Valentinas for you at halftime, bro, in your honor.
Some Valentinas, yeah. But hey, for anybody who can't make it to the game and anybody who's looking to follow Austin FC this season, and follow along with us here, We Talking About Sports, they got an exclusive deal. The MLS is now being streamed on Apple TV. No more local blackouts. I know for us here living in San Antonio, Spurs games, anytime it's on NBA TV or anything like that, blacked out sucks big time. So here we go with the Apple TV deal. You'll be able to rewatch games after they're played, play them back. Have you all subscribed already? I know T-Mobile was giving it out free on T-Mobile Tuesday. Justin was slanging codes like a crack dealer.
Shout out to Justin, man. He hooked me up, so I got that season pass too.
Yeah. Roland, you in?
I have Apple TV, so I need.
Roland's been plugged in, baby. He said, "I don't need it on a stimulus Tuesday."
I'm ready to peasants.
Go. Yeah. All right, boys. Well, that was it. The inaugural We Talking About Sports Los Verdes episodes. Boys, let's hope that we ain't some type of jinx. Let's get the dub this Saturday. Let's beat Dominant, and we'll be back next week, either Tuesday or Thursday, to recap. We're gonna have boots on the ground. Boots on the ground at Q2 Stadium. We got the newest addition here to the Los Verdes We Talk About Sports podcast. Rich, gonna be with us all season, brother. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate your time. This is going to be a good season, boys. Good vibes.
Positive vibes only.
Thanks, man. Excited to be here, and Verdes hasta la muerte, as always.
Woo! Let's go.